Hello there and welcome back to the Non-League podcast with myself, Lee Simons. Today I've got another special guest with me. I've got the Norwich United manager with me, Cédric Anselin. How are you, sir? How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. How's the isolation for you, sir?
No, not too bad. Not too bad, actually. I'm surprising myself. Again, is a time for me to reflect on a lot of different things and obviously exercising. I've so upped my running to 21k. So
Oh wow,
very pleased with that.
wow, that's really good. I'm only just doing about 45 minutes walk round where I live at the moment, so it's nice to get out and about, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And to be fair, I'm very privileged to live where I live because I live in the middle of nowhere in the countryside near Coltishall,
Oh wow,
north of Norwich, which is good. I can go running and I don't have to see anyone.
that's even better, isn't it?
So yeah, it's perfect.
Perfect. So for people who don't know you, Cédric, can you just go back to your playing days when you were at Bordeaux and Lille and of course Norwich City as well?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, I'm a French international.
Yep.
I was come out of the academy at Bordeaux in France.
Yes.
Signed my first professional contract when I was 18. Won the French League in '99.
Yep.
Played the UEFA Cup final against Bayern Munich in 1996.
Wow.
And then obviously I made that move to Norwich in the end of March '99. So
Wow.
I was just coming for a loan period of 3 months, and
Yep.
in the end I signed a 3.5-year contract with the Canaries.
Wow, that sounds amazing. Well, going back to Bordeaux when you first started in the academy, was that did you play for a local team to start with when you were in Bordeaux, or do you just go straight into the academy at Bordeaux?
No. I was playing for my local team in southwest of France on the Spanish border, a little club called Anglet.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, I was just doing my trade there, and obviously it's not too far from Bordeaux. I think it's an hour and a half traveling. So I had obviously a few scouts come to watch me from Bordeaux. So yeah, I was part of obviously the county team.
Yeah.
Which I done very well to that, and been approached by Bordeaux, but I had also Monaco, Nantes,
Wow.
Nancy, Auxerre. So I had quite a very big French clubs in terms of when you think about academy in France. The two big ones was probably Nantes and Auxerre, who they produce some quality players.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
So I took Bordeaux purely for the fact that it was not far from where I was living.
Yes, yeah.
I did went on trial but I went for a week test, we will say, at Nancy.
Yeah.
But it was completely opposite of the country where I was obviously living, because Nancy is not far from the German border.
Yeah.
And I was living near the Spanish border. So,
Okay.
So I've decided not to go for.
Fair enough. So then you signed for Bordeaux. How was that as a young player going into a kind of a decent setup for Bordeaux, and how was it for you when you went into the academy there?
Obviously, it's a big satisfaction to get called and invited to be part of a club, because Bordeaux at that time was obviously a big French club. Got a lot of histories. I had a lot of big players playing for the club, but that is you feel like was the word proud a little bit in some aspects, that to get called and inviting and be part of the club, and obviously you got a badge on the chest, and you have to show not just on the field but outside the field the way you conduct yourself. And I think that's the values of the club was suiting me as a person. So yeah, I felt very proud. Again, I was not the only one at the academy. It was quite a lot of players, and is a profession that is not guaranteed that you can make it.
Definitely not, because there's hundreds or even millions of young players who want to play for a team, don't they?
Exactly. You know, the academy, it was probably about 80 of us.
Wow.
And it's quite a lot in different age, different categories as well. But again, is almost like you live a life of a family life.
Yeah.
But you also need to keep an eye on your shoulder because everyone wants your positions. Everyone wants to play your position. Everyone wants to have that contract at the end of the season or after your contract. So, you know, it's a difficult profession, but when you make it, it is one of the best, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. So you signed that contract when you was 18. Whereabouts did you go from there? Did you, because you played in the first team, didn't you? And then of course you got into the UEFA Cup final as well against Bayern Munich. That must have been sensational. We're going through that cup run.
Yeah. It was again. It's quite very strange how it happened for me because I was playing with the U17 national for Bordeaux,
Yes.
and I was coming to the end of that season, and obviously they make a decision if they're going to keep you or if they're going to release you.
Okay.
And lucky enough, I had the reserve manager, Bordeaux, who heard good things about me, and he just invited me to train with the reserve, which, you know, when you train with the reserve, is the team just below the first team. So you had some professional players in there.
Yeah.
And I did very well, and they give me a 2-year contract.
Yeah.
Just as an apprentice, and then obviously I'd done my trades and been able to go with the first team to train.
Yeah.
And they offered me a 4.5-year contract, and obviously that is a proud moment when you sign your first pro contract. Is you have sacrificed so much in your life to be where you are, and your mate going out and doing what they need to do and what they wanted to do at that age. But me, obviously, I had a goal and I had a dream. So yeah, it's massive satisfaction to be able to reach your dreams, and then of course after that, the squad I was in the first team, we had big players, we had a fantastic team, we had fantastic team spirit, and it was easy for me to just gel into that changing room.
Yeah, I bet it was, especially because you had those big players coming through, didn't you? You had Zidane playing with yourself, didn't you? And was it Lazou as well, the left back?
Yeah.
That must have been amazing to see those players around you as well, and like even winning the cup final. Going into the cup final as well. You know, you've done an amazingly good job for yourself and for the players around you.
It was, as I said, you train on a daily basis with quality players, like Zidane and Lizarazu and Dugarry, and I miss plenty of them. But you learn every day, not just as a player, but you learn how to conduct yourself and your manners. Because we all talk about footballers the way they are on the football field, but we sometimes forgot about the outside of it. Zidane was an example. He was very humble, and he was a very nice person, very likable person, very quiet in the changing room. And I always said he do his talking on the field.
Yeah.
But and again, don't get me wrong, it's a lot of hard work, to be a professional player. It's purely low luck.
Yeah.
Be there at the right time. But you sacrifice and you work a lot to be where you want to be, and I was lucky to achieve that in at the start of my career. And so as you mentioned, the UEFA Cup final, you just come. It was like the cherry on the cake, basically. I was not expecting to be in a squad. I was not expecting to be in a quarterfinal against AC Milan as well. So again, it's all down to hard work.
Exactly, because you played against some top players in that AC Milan team as well, didn't you?
Yeah. That was probably one of the best team in the world at that time, AC Milan.
I bet you had. Yeah, sorry. I bet you had to pinch yourself sometimes because, especially being on that near that pitch at the San Siro. Because I've been to the San Siro to watch as a spectator, and the stadium is so iconic where it is, So for you to actually play on that pitch in front of those thousands of spectators, and of course the players around you, and of course against you as well, that must have been incredible.
Well, yeah, exactly. Again, I was not expecting to be in the squad to play, to be part of it. That game in the quarterfinal, I think it's the day before we traveled. The manager called me in his office and he said, "Tomorrow you're in the squad."
Wow.
So yeah,
That must have been amazing.
It was unbelievable. We again I was not expecting to be flying with the first team against one of the biggest team in the world at the time, with unbelievable players, with unbelievable stadium. And I remember the night before the game, we obviously had a training session on the pitch, and I was actually looking around and thinking, wow, the players they had in the squad, I had their poster in my room.
I bet you did.
And then suddenly I was like, stepping on their territory. I was exciting that I was going to see some of my idol the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like I couldn't believe it. And to be fair, I remember after the game we lost 2-0.
Yeah.
At San Siro, and obviously I was a young lad, and you got all the medias and the journalists, and wanted obviously to have a chat with obviously bigger names that me. And I remember I was zigzagging between the journalists, and I was obviously walking back to the bus.
Yeah.
And I remember the AC Milan changing room door just opened at the time. I was just passing, and Roberto Baggio just come out of it. And, I was like, wow, I've got his poster in my room. That guy played the World Cup final in 1994 against Brazil, where he missed his penalty.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, you kind of had to pinch yourself, really, haven't you?
Yeah. And
Sorry.
The next day I was going to school.
Well, that's incredible, because you're playing in like that big game, and you're passing that the changing room, and of course you see one of your idols coming through. That's incredible. Really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Exactly. Again, you don't realize how lucky. I didn't realize how lucky I was. I couldn't really put my head around what actually happened and what actually I've achieved. And it's actually the next day when I went back to college, and obviously everyone watched the game and everyone see me on TV, and all my friends and the teachers. And this is when you go, everyone keep asking you questions about everything, and it's just mad. It was just crazy at the time. It just happened quickly.
Yeah, I bet they did. I bet they went around, "Oh, can we have your autograph? Have you got any autographs from that actual game? We should be excited to see, have you got this? Have you got that?" So it'd be that's probably quite surreal for you, as going back to college.
My life completely changed after obviously played first few games with the first team, but obviously playing the UEFA Cup final and the quarter final and be on TV, it just completely changed my life. It was not like I was a young boy, because I was still at the Academy of Bordeaux at the time.
Oh wow!
Just to go in a city with some of my teammates, and not my teammate, but the lads I was sharing my rooms at the Academy, it was just incredible. I couldn't go to buy some CDs or going for dinner with them. It's just like people just was asking you an autograph, which it didn't really bother me at the time. But it's just because I was still a young lad, I didn't really absorb what was going on in my life at the time.
No. So you got into the semi-final. Of course, you won the semi-final, and then you played the final against Bayern Munich. I bet that was because they had some really good players as well, outstanding players, because Jürgen Klinsmann was still playing for the German side as well, weren't they? So that must have been another stepping stone for you as a Bordeaux Academy player, actually playing for the first team or being on the bench to start with. But then you see all those players training next to you, warming up, probably see them in the changing rooms as well before and after the game as well. I bet that was kind of a surreal moment for you as well.
Everything was crazy on that day, because as you mentioned, the name Klinsmann was playing. You had Oliver Kahn was still playing. You had Mehmet Scholl, and all that team that Bayern Munich had was all international players. They all like big players who play, at very high level, big stage, big games, World Cups games, and it was me just running alongside them. And I remember when the ball came out of playing fields, I remember trying to chase the ball because obviously we were losing, and I remember Franz Beckenbauer, was the manager, and he stopped the ball with his feet, and he just passed it to me, and I just look at him and I thought, wow, that's an absolute legend of the game.
Yeah, I bet.
And exactly, and his memories like that I would never forget. Ever forget. Even before the game, when you go to watch the pitch and have a look at the pitch, and 2 hours before the game, the stadium at Bordeaux was always full.
Yeah.
People was queuing to get tickets and stuff like that. It was absolutely madness.
I bet it was. I bet that was a great memory for you as a professional footballer at that time.
Yeah, it's incredible. And again, we're talking about the final. It's 24 years ago next month.
Oh, right. I feel old now. I feel really old.
24 years ago, I've played the final UEFA Cup.
Wow, that's unbelievable. So going from the cup final, whereabouts did you go after the cup final with Bordeaux?
What do you mean? Were we done after the game?
Yeah. So after the season had finished, did you stay with Bordeaux for a little bit, or did you move on to, was it Lille?
Yeah, no. The thing is, we had such a very good, positive campaign in the Europa Cup, but in the league we were struggling. We were proper struggling, and I think we managed to save ourselves 2 or 3 games before the end of the season. So. Remember going to Bordeaux in the league game away to Lille.
Yeah.
And the manager just put all the young lads, and we won 2-0.
Oh, wow.
And obviously the season finished, and obviously the big players like Dugarry and Lizarazu and Zidane, they obviously been approached by bigger clubs. So almost half of the team, they all left. They went to bigger clubs.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed there, and obviously a new manager came, and he came with his plan and his players. And I was all right at the start, and then obviously, you go test of playing, and you want to have a bit more minutes.
Yes.
So I decided to go on loan with the backup of Bordeaux, to give me a bit more maturity in my game, and again to put me out of my surrounding and my comfort zones. So I went to Lille on my own, and I had my own flat.
Yeah.
I have to look after myself on my own. I had no one to cook for me, and again, it was a city that I didn't really know. I didn't know too much the players in the squad at Lille. So I was completely out of my comfort zones, which is probably something at that stage of my career is something I was in need to be fair to go through and gain some maturity in my game and myself as well.
Yeah, I bet that was. I bet that was a bit of a culture shock for you, because going to a different city and different players and everything like that. I bet that was a kind of a culture shock, shall we say? So
the climate is not the same in north of France than the south of France, for sure.
Yeah, I bet it is.
But I took that experience in a very positive way. It's been very good for me to be part of that part of that journey with Lille. Unfortunately, we didn't manage to go back up in the Premier League.
No.
But I had a good season.
Well, that's good. That's really good. So, when you finished with Lille, when did you get approached by Norwich City? Was it like out of the blue, or was it how did that come around?
I was on loan at Lille.
Yeah.
I was only a yearly loan at Lille, and obviously I was always going to come back to Bordeaux after my loan.
Okay.
So I came back to Bordeaux a bit early, because I think at that year I think the club was going to go on a tour just before the end of the season. So they asked me to come back, and I come back to Bordeaux and done very well. And the manager kept me. And Norwich City just come out where I was not getting any time play at Bordeaux, my agent at the time said, "Do you fancy to go abroad?" And I said, "Why not?" So we looked England, because he had his club in England, and I was due to sign for Southampton. I went for a week trial at Southampton.
Oh wow!
The league went. My trial went very, very well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the French Federation didn't send a letter to allow me to play a friendly.
Okay. Yes.
So I couldn't play a friendly, so I was just training.
Yes.
Obviously, Southampton organised a friendly in midweek, but I couldn't play.
Oh.
So I kept training with them for the week, and then they said, "Look, go back to Bordeaux. We'll come to see you at Bordeaux."
Okay.
And I said, "Okay, no problem." And when I went back to Bordeaux, my agents had a contact with Norwich. They're looking at a profile player like me, and I went to Norwich, and it just happened very quickly.
I bet it did for you. So how did you find Bordeaux to Lille to Norwich? How was that different from like the France side of it to the English side of it, like training and stuff?
Everything was slightly different, because obviously it was a bit difficult for me with the language barrier. I didn't speak English.
No.
So I had a translator with me for a while, who was translating me a lot. Lucky enough, Norwich at the time, they had a young players who were playing for the under-18, I think, at Norwich. He was speaking fluent French, so he was helping me quite a lot. But no, I absolutely adore my time at Norwich. I absolutely loved it. It's the reason why I'm still living here, and I love the club. I love the life here, and I'm settled here, and I've got my 2 boys who were born here, so I absolutely love it. But at the start it was a bit difficult, but I absolutely love it. When you play, that nothing matters.
Definitely. So when you kind of left Norwich City, whereabouts did you go after there?
I left Norwich City. Where did I went? I think I went to I went to Scotland.
Okay. Yes.
I went to Scotland, so I signed for Ross County.
Okay.
Quite late in a season. I went to Ross County.
Mm-hmm.
Done very well. Unfortunately, they didn't give me a new contract, because the policy of the club at Ross County was to promote a lot of young players from the academy.
Yes.
So they can obviously sell them for a good fee, and this had them they obviously run. And I had no problem with that. I had a lovely time over there.
Yeah.
And then obviously I went to South America afterwards. So I went to Bolivia to play Copa Libertadores. So I went there for a bit, but unfortunately I left early because I fell unwell. I caught malaria.
Oh right. Oh wow. Oh god.
So I moved back in Europe.
Oh right. So then did you come back to England to start playing again? Was it?
No.
No.
No. I came back. First and foremost, I went to France.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
I went back to France for a bit.
Yeah.
And because I had some issues there, so I have to deal with some issues there. So I went there, and then I moved back to Norwich, because obviously my girlfriend at the time was still based in Norwich, so moved back to Norwich, and then I was out of action. I didn't play for a long time, purely because I had some private issues.
Yes.
So I was trying to deal with that.
Yeah,
so
I understand.
Completely forgot, but I completely put football on the side. Completely lost a bit of love for the game, but because I was dealing with some deep issues in my private life, which is, I was still very young at the time. It was quite hard to deal with that.
Yeah, I bet it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet it was. So you came out of that rough spell of your personal life. Did you go back into playing football after that, or did you just try and get your life back onto track? And once your life got back onto track, did you go back into the love of the game? So
it took me quite a while to come back and wanted to play. To be fair, it was more my girlfriend at the time. She was pushing me to come back playing because obviously is the love of my life. Football. I sacrificed a lot to be part of that industry.
Yes, you did.
And she found out that he was a French manager in Cambridge.
Okay. Yeah.
So she said, well, you don't call him and make contact with him and see where he goes.
Yeah.
Which I did. Put in contact with Hervé Renard at Cambridge United, and he invited me to come training.
Oh, right. Okay.
Bear in mind, I didn't play for quite a long time, so mentally I was not there. Physically, I was miles away. But, he took the time with me. He put me back on track, my fitness and mentally, and I fell in love with the game again.
Well, sounds amazing.
Unfortunately, he got sacked, the manager.
Yeah.
And then obviously a new manager came, and he had his, the club was struggling. We were in the bottom 2 of League One, I think, and he wanted to get results. He didn't need to have flair players like me, so I left and I went to Southend for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then obviously I went down to Pyramid because I didn't have to travel all the way to Southend, so I just play more local football around Norfolk. So I signed for Kings Lynn and then kind of clubs here. And that's it. And then obviously, you come to an age where you need to understand that you're not going to make money in the game anymore. So I started to do my coaching badges and it's what I done.
Yeah.
Get a job.
I bet that was it. Kind of, you come to that deciding moment in your life. Really, do you want to start thinking about packing up playing football, or did you want to go coaching? And of course, you went down the coaching role of for yourself to try and get better. So then, after the coaching badges, whereabouts did you go after that? What club came to you and asked, "Oh, do you want to come and manage our club or coach in our club?"
At the time, I was still playing a Lowestoft. I remember signing for Lowestoft, and
okay, yeah,
we won the league.
Wow.
But my wife at the time, she was pregnant, and I didn't really want to travel and anymore. So I remember speaking to Lowestoft chairman, and they offered me sort of like a position with the reserve,
yes,
as an assistant manager and things like that, which I took, and we had a very good season. And then I left that. I went to Cromer as a first team coach.
Yes.
Which I enjoyed my time there. And then I left Cromer and went to Goulston.
Yes.
Same first team coach. Wroxham again, first team coach. So yeah, and then after that, I think I went to back playing manager, assistant manager at Sheringham, and obviously been the first team coach as well there. And then I had the job at Norwich United and came along.
Exactly. It's like when Sheringham come along, how was that for you going into that role as like a first team coach or manager, shall we say? And you've got the local boys there wanting to play for you. They probably looked up to you and say, right, you paid for like all these clubs like Bordeaux, Lille and Norwich City, and of course others as well. How did they look up to you, and how did they approach you in liking the non-league side? Because the non-league side for me, I've only been following the non-league side over for a few years now. From 2017, I've been to Thetford, I've been to Goulston, Wroxham, Norwich United. I've seen the players, they seem to be getting better and better, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
Sheringham, he came at the right time in my life because I was going through a divorce. And when my friend Chris Wigger was obviously the manager at Sheringham approached me, in my mind I just wanted to go back and playing football. I didn't want to be assistant manager or first team coach. I just wanted to play, and we agreed that I was going to play.
Yep.
And then obviously the following season he asked me if I wanted to take obviously the training and be a first team coach, which I did alongside being an assistant and playing.
Yeah.
And then I unfortunately got injured. I snapped my ACL.
Oh, ow.
So obviously I stopped playing, but I was still obviously being able to be part of it in terms as an assistant and a first team coach. But not the lads. You know, the thing is, Sheringham, we had such a very good bond with the players that the team spirit is incredible. The local lads was, you know, very receptive. They wanted to learn. They wanted to develop, and that was the club himself wanted to obviously push themselves. They wanted to go up and go as far as they could in terms of the pyramid in the leagues. And we had two promotion with Sheringham, you know.
That's good. That's really good.
So, but again, is to have the right fit and the right players in your squad. And that's what we done. We built a team to obviously being able to be competitive in the leagues, but also being able to go up. And then we had obviously the backup of the chairman was always there, and then it's good to be part of a club like that. And you know, you look now, Sheringham, they are a very good club in the third non. I think they're Div 1 North, I think.
Yeah, I think it's the North League they're in. Yeah. So
you know, it's a fantastic club. Unfortunately, I wanted to test myself a little bit.
Yeah, I understand that.
And I've been an assistant, I've been a first team coach, but I've never really been a first team manager. So when the phone call came from Norwich United chairman and asked me, and we had a long conversation, and I said yes, I'm up for it. I felt ready at the time. My age was perfect, and again, is you know, I've been in non-league football to understand how the non-league football work, and I understand also that what the non-league football is required in terms of players.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, the league is getting a lot stronger because you've got a lot of players who are playing a lot higher, who are obviously dropping in the pyramid.
Yeah, definitely.
For different factors, the travelling, they got a young family and things like that.
Yeah.
So they want to settle somewhere and don't have to travel that far. And that's why obviously make the third non very, very, very competitive.
Most definitely.
And obviously you got a lot of chairman now. They put a lot more money into the clubs, you know, at the lower level.
Exactly, yeah.
So, but yeah, no. To be fair, I took over Norwich United, and you know, it's just a learning curve. You know, I've learned along the way. You know, I'm not saying I know everything about the game, but because when you're manager, you not just think as a player. You think about the other things going behind doors, and you know, things that when you are a player, you don't think about it.
No, you don't.
The players only turn up, and you told them what to do in training, and they will do what they get told. But if they don't understand how much preparation is going behind the thoughts and the why we are doing that, they don't think too much about it.
No.
And they think all of that when they finish playing, or when they want to do their coaching levels, or when they want to be a manager. And then is where they actually think about, oh yeah, well, I understand why are we doing that now.
Exactly. It's like for the players when they're going like into a game or going into training, they don't really think about what's actually behind the scenes, really, do they? It's like for yourself, you've actually been there. You've been the player. You've been the coach. You've been now the manager of Norwich United, who kind of finished second last season, didn't you? When the season was void. So, no, you've done a pretty good job with Stowmarket, not yourself at Norwich. Stanway Rovers were third. You had Newmarket, then you had Wroxham, the top five in the third none, which is quite an achievement for you guys at Norwich United. And of course, it's only going to get better and better.
Yeah. But if you look the year before that, you know, Wroxham finished in the top 5, top 6, I think. Stowmarket was exactly the same, top top 5, top 6. I think Stanway was in a different league, but they were up there as well.
Yeah.
You know, Newmarket as well. They finished in 9th last season. We finished 11th or 10th last year. So from 10th to finish 2nd,
it's unbelievable.
Is a massive improvement. You know, not just down to me, but the players as well. Because we have set targets at the beginning of the season, and the players was very receptive, and they work really hard to achieve what we achieved this year.
Exactly. Because in the goal tallies, you've got 3 of the top goal scorers in the top 15. So you had Liam Jackson, who's actually going to be joining me on the podcast very soon as well. So I'll be talking to him. He got 33 goals like the last season, so it's really good for him. So
but he was at 32 goals at the beginning of February.
Wow.
And when you think before obviously the coronavirus hit, you know what happened.
Yeah.
We still have 2.5 months left.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So the scary thing is how many goals he could have scored in 2.5 months.
Exactly.
You know, he could have gone to 40 goals.
Exactly, because Joshua Mayhew, who plays for Stowmarket, I think last season or season before, he got over 50 goals in one season. So he could have equalled it, or he could have beaten it. So because he was on a roll, wasn't he?
Yeah, he scored every game. You know, he's a very good player. He's got an unbelievable attitude. He wants to learn. He's still young. He's got a good work ethic, and you know, he's been outstanding. He's a goal scorer.
Yeah, to me, because whenever I see it on social media or whenever Norwich United tweet up, it's always him who scored the goals, which is quite an achievement for him.
Yeah, and to be fair, he's got good. He had good players around him this year. You know, he's just not just him score 33 goals. He's I think it's Ben Fox. He scored 26.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, you've got Finlay Barnes. He scored 16 or 15.
Yes. Yeah. So you got. So it's all about the team building, isn't it? At the end of the day,
for me, it's all about the team. It's
exactly.
not about individuals.
So it's always about to the next step. So going on from that, going on to like the next season, whenever that's going to start, how are you going to improve things?
Well, that is a good question. First and foremost, I don't know when the season will start.
True.
So it's quite difficult as a manager to plan for next season.
Yep.
But I'm very positive that to keep the remaining squad I've got and trying to do again and even better and try and not finish second, but try and finish first.
Yeah. So,
that is the aim. You know, there's always a room to improve.
Yes.
And it's what we're going to do for next season.
Well, that would be good to see. Hopefully I can get down to Norwich United next season to go and see the team, play my team. So hopefully that would be quite good. But one other thing, Cédric, about the social media side of it, do you think in the non-league side, do you think it's got better for you? Because when I started to do like little video highlights and doing like podcasts and bits and pieces, there doesn't seem to be that much. But now, over the last couple of years, there seems to be quite a lot of people doing highlights. There's like people doing podcasts, everything. So what is your take on the social media side of it?
But I think the social media have taken the world of everybody, not just in terms of the non-league football, but everyone's life.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's good that obviously people are getting more interested in the non-league football because I think it's where everything starts for players.
Oh, definitely.
Young players, you know, and again, is as a point of view of a manager, you know, when you go on social media and you look for different clubs and things like that, it's easy to look for other clubs, to look where they do things.
Yeah.
Players, but yeah, no, I think the last 2 or 3 years, it's been a breath of fresh air to see people getting more interesting about the non-league football and put the non-league football a bit more into a spot that people can actually come to look the games, and some people who go to watch professional games, and sometimes they go to watch non-league football, they always said, wow, I had a lovely day, I had a fantastic game, what a game.
Exactly.
Oh, beautiful.
It's good, isn't it? Because it's under £10 to get in. Because I've been to Thetford, I've been to yourselves, Norwich United, I've been to Wroxham, Manchester. It's a kind of a different atmosphere. It's like a family bond.
Exactly.
And of course, you got the young players wanting to play football, and of course, you got the other teams like Stowmarket bringing in money. They're bringing in like the club players from different clubs who've been up the higher of the pyramid, coming down and actually trying to teach the young players how to play the game.
Exactly, and I think non-league football is a very small community when you think about it. It's not just one club. Is what's going on all around the club. You got the youth, you got a team behind the first team, and that's why you make the club. And I like sometimes to go to watch the young lads on a Sunday morning or the Saturday morning, or even going to watch the under 18. And I think that's part of my job as a manager.
Yeah.
But I think that's why the beauty of the non-league football is a small community, and again you don't have to be part of a club. You can go to watch different clubs around your local region.
Definitely.
I've been watching Thetford. I went to watch Wroxham. I went to watch Sheringham. I went to watch Cromer. I went to watch Case they're playing. It's just an interest that is the beauty of the game. It's the beauty of the non-league football. Is everyone know each other as well.
Definitely.
If you hear a name and he attracts your eye, or someone mentioned that name and he's a good player, of course you're going to put your ears into it and think, oh, okay. But yeah, no, it's good that people like you obviously put the non-league football into a map a little bit.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's very nice, kind to say, Cédric. Thank you.
That's all right. It's my pleasure.
So, Cédric, I just want to wrap it up. I really do appreciate you coming on to the podcast and talking to me today. I wish you all the well for next season, whenever that starts, and I hope to meet you in person.
I hope that you will come. Obviously, you just mentioned you've been coming, or you have come to watch Norwich United this year, and I hope I will see you again next season. We'll probably sit down and have a good chat. And actually put a face on the name.
Yes, you probably will, yeah. But yeah, I really thank you for listening, guys. Hopefully I will see you on the next one. Cheers.